I don't know if I actually want to share this. I don't know if you want to hear this. I've been a full-time content creator for 5 years now, and in that time, I've seen some stuff. I thought I knew what I was getting into when this became my job, and to some extent I did know, but there's a lot of stuff I didn't. And so I've had this note in my notes app for maybe a year now, and I've been adding to it, and I just wanted to make a video sharing the stuff that I think you should know if you're also a small creator and you're growing your channel. Growing your channel, growing your Instagram, growing your TikTok even. Hopefully this is helpful for everyone. Today in the mug is a coffee, and I think this actually might be quite therapeutic for me too. And this video is sponsored by Expo. If you're new around here, hi, my name is Lucy Moon. I talk about lifestyle, living in London, some style, fashion, a whole bunch of lovely things. If you would like to stick around, please do hit subscribe and give this video a like if you're enjoying it. Let me open my notes because this is a hefty video. So these are the brutal truths that I think you need to know if you're starting YouTube. When I first started, everyone would tell me consistency is key. You have to upload really frequently, like upload daily, upload weekly, upload twice weekly if you can. Whatever you can do is how often you should upload. And the same transcends Instagram and it transcends TikTok. People are like frequency, frequency, frequency. I would argue that consistency is key, but not in the way you're expecting. Consistency also counts for the quality of your videos. And I don't know why people don't talk about this more, but I've seen so many creators have incredibly successful careers without having a strict upload schedule and only making high quality stuff. I don't think you should feel held back if that's the model you're gonna take for uploading whatever kind of content you're making. A great example would be my friend Adrian Bliss on TikTok. He is absolutely smashing it. And as far as I'm aware, he doesn't upload that regularly, probably once every week, once every 2 weeks, which is quite slow in TikTok like land, but he could even go slower. But the quality of his sketches is so good that people love them. I get sent them all the time. Another great example is Elle Mills. When she grew the most was when she uploaded the least. So yeah, I think you get to pick your poison. With me, as a lifestyle creator, I try and upload with frequency and stuff that isn't necessarily as high quality as maybe a short film or a mini documentary. Whereas if that's kind of more the path you're going down, or sketch comedy, you definitely can play with the upload timings more than you can play with the consistency of the quality of your output. Let's talk about money. I wish I had known just how much of a financial buffer I would need, especially when your main source of income is brand deals. So as a creator, you are either operating as a sole trader, so like just as a freelancer basically, or as a company. And in both those instances, when you work with a brand, which is for a lot of creators one of their sources of income, you have to complete the full amount of work, then you have to submit an invoice, and then you will get paid. Theoretically, most of the time you should get paid within 30 days or within 90 days. This is a rare occurrence. Every creator has a payment horror story. So, speaking of which, I would love to talk to you about today's sponsor, Expo. Expo is building a bank for creators, helping creators to get their invoices paid within 24 hours for free. It allows creators to spend less time chasing invoices, which, if you've ever done it, you'll know is super time consuming. I once waited a year and 5 months for a payment. I was chasing. In the end, I had to get someone else to chase it for me. And it just got caught up in many agencies, many different funnels of where the money could end up. We had to follow it back and no one knew where it was. The sheer amount of effort it took to get that payment. And it was a sizable payment. Like that was a good chunk of my yearly income. Oh my goodness. You couldn't pay me to go trace that again. So there are 3 easy steps to submitting an invoice to Expo. Number 1, you sign up to Expo. Number 2, you fill in the campaign deliverables. And number 3, you complete the brand information. Expo will do the rest and you will receive your payment within 24 hours. I think Expo is a great solution, especially if you're a small content creator. It could save you so much time and energy. If you want to know more about Expo, I will leave a link in the description. You can find out way more info there. And there will also be a QR code on screen which you can scan. Thanks again to Expo for working with me on this video. I am buzzing that there are more solutions for creators and that we're progressing the creator economy. It's so exciting to me. On this note, you need to create multiple revenue streams. In 2018, I got screwed. I got really screwed by a management agency. I've actually talked a bit about this on Ortega's podcast, in which I was very, very frank about my experiences as a creator and with the creator economy. But yeah, in 2018, my management, I don't know if they folded, but they stopped replying to my emails. They kind of half replied to stuff, sold me the world, and then never followed through. And goodness knows how much work I lost through that because I was legally obliged to put all my work through them. So an email would hit my inbox, I'd forward it over to them, and they'd say, great, we'll follow this up, and then I'd never hear from them again. And they were fine for the first 6 months that I worked with them, so this really caught me off guard. So yeah, in that year, I made 18K, which, if you know London, is not enough to live off. That was my lesson learned, and I realised I needed to have multiple revenue streams. I could not depend on brand collaborations to make the majority of my income. So we changed things up. I've often heard the advice that you should have 5 revenue streams minimum. I do think that's quite ambitious, but I would say aim for 4 or 5, even small ones. Small ones make a huge difference. So for me personally, I think products are a great way to make money, or merchandise, brand collaborations, your AdSense, which is the money you get from pre-rolls on your videos, but I would also include in that all the current creator funds. I know TikTok has a creator fund, YouTube has one, and Instagram has one. And then affiliate links can be really helpful. And then you can also do consulting, you can do public speaking. A lot of people have digital products. I can feel my eye twitching. There are so many ways that you can make money as a creator, and I would really recommend investing time and energy into having a few of those on the go at all times. I once had 6 or 7 on the go. Yeah, 2019 me was smashing it. And my final important money point is save 25% of what you make for tax. You would not believe how many people do not do this. Some people also recommend you save 30%. Between 25 and 30% is great. I have a friend who started earning money as a creator at 17. He had no financial experience and his family weren't able to help with any of the knowledge or expertise. And he ended up owing HMRC a load of money. He didn't even know he had to save for tax. And last year, he finally paid off that debt. So that was probably 5 or 6 years down the line, he was able to pay off that debt. I just want to make it clear, please save your pennies. I don't know what it's like elsewhere in the world, but our tax collectors, HMRC, love to catch influencers out. It makes a great headline, so just don't risk it. I would also say get yourself an accountant, but that's just me because I'm not very good with numbers. I love my accountant Sam, he's great. I actually don't even know if he's my accountant anymore, it might just be Nick, but those guys are so good. This is a proper chatty video, this feels like old time videos. Okay, I actually made a massive list in my notes of all the ways you can make money as an influencer that I could think of off the top of my head. Selling a digital or physical product, affiliate links, AdSense, a fan subscription model like Patreon or Twitch or channel memberships, advances on royalties from book deals or music deals, speaking, panel gigs, consulting for companies and brands about your expertise. And you can also have another job. I'll talk about that in a bit. You do not have to put yourself in a niche. I wish I could yell that from my soapbox. So about a year into being a full-time YouTuber, I had a bit of an identity crisis. I just felt quite burned out and I wasn't sure how to level up what I was doing. And so I spoke to a lot of industry professionals, not creators, industry professionals. We'll get onto this in a bit. And nearly all of them told me I didn't have enough of a niche. That freaked me out, and then suddenly I hurtled myself down a beauty and fashion niche in the hopes that by being pretty strict and pretty stringent with it, I would just somehow work out what my greater purpose was and get further along in the, I don't know, my career, I guess. It didn't help me one bit. What I was doing was great. When I first went full time, it was clearly working. And then when I switched, my channel started hemorrhaging. And I was like, no, it's fine, it's fine. These experts have all been telling me I need to find a niche. But in fact, what I was doing was just pigeonholing myself. As a creator, your niche is your interests and they're meant to be broad. And it's those quirks and those interesting things that you do that actually make you stand out and make you more interesting both to your audience and to people who want to work with you. And if someone in the industry, for whatever reason, doesn't know what to do with you because they say you're not specific enough, then don't work with them. They're not worth working with. They don't know their onions. You might be a chic minimal fashion influencer who loves heavy metal and has tattoos. That is your niche. Don't try and pivot and sit more in the chic minimal thing that everyone's doing. And it becomes so much harder to make good quality content when you have pushed yourself into too small of a niche. So yeah, one of my main pieces of advice would be do not pigeonhole yourself. You are the expert about what you do. If you are achieving some level of success as a small creator, don't let people who are twice your age tell you how to do your job. Speaking of which, I wish I'd never tried to be more palatable. So there's 2 elements to this, and one of them is working out your boundaries when it comes to what you share online. And that does take a little bit of time, a little bit of feeling things out. My main mantra is share scars, not wounds. So share things after the fact, once you've learned from them, things that are painful or maybe more difficult to deal with. Maybe don't share things as they're happening. I learned that the hard way. But also don't neutralize yourself entirely. I think when you do try and become more palatable or more brand friendly, you lose a lot of the appeal to your audience because you're not as authentic anymore. I wouldn't want to watch someone self-censoring, and I don't think you would either. Oh my God, I wish I could scream this one. Don't commit to one platform. There's just so many reasons why. Just don't put all your eggs in one basket. Please, your platform, whatever you've committed to, is a part of big tech. And at any point, on a whim, it can just change the entire thing. I would like to bring up again on this topic, the YouTube ad apocalypse. I have no words. I love putting time and energy into YouTube as a creator, but all of these platforms are owned by huge tech companies, and depending on their investors or on a news article or pressure from the government, in fact, all of these platforms can change the way they operate, and it could sabotage what you're doing. I would recommend posting different kinds of content on maybe 3 or 4 different platforms. It doesn't have to be really regular. You'll probably have one main one. I know YouTube's my main one and I love YouTube, but just make sure you're kind of balanced a bit. So if one just hits the pan, you're not completely strung out and don't have a job anymore or a way of people following you. I also think it's great to have a platform that doesn't rely on being pushed out to people by algorithms. So for example, a blog, a newsletter, or a Patreon, because you wholly control the reach of those. This might all sound obvious when I'm saying it, but you wouldn't believe how many people don't do this or realize they only need to do this when it's too late. And sorry, I'm proper... That's the second plant I've knocked over. Oh my God. Oh no. Oh, please don't fall over again. I'm going to delicately get back up here. Props him back up, but yeah, I'll deal with that later. Let's continue. Your most important skill that you will develop beyond everything else you've learned so far is the art of making things clickable. I wish it wasn't this way either. I don't think I realized just how important this would be when I started. And my goodness, the power of a good thumbnail and a good title is unmatched. If you get it right, you get it really, really right, and your video will do so well. And this can apply to other things as well, especially for short form video. If you don't reel people in within the first 2 seconds of your video, it's not going to do that well. You're basically advertising yourself at the front of every piece of content you make. That takes a lot of energy. There's no point making a great video if no one clicks on it. God, that's bleak, isn't it? But yeah, it just speaks to the saturation of all of these platforms. You're competing against so many incredible videos. And on top of that, you want to be able to find the videos that fit your video the best. You want the algorithm to be able to match you with the correct content so that it goes to the right people and you're associated with the right other creators. So much of that is in your thumbnail and your title. So yeah, I would really recommend prioritizing learning about those because it will make all the difference. I think this is my final point. I don't know if I actually want to share this because I don't know. I don't know if you want to hear this. I don't know many YouTubers who are happy who are also full-time creators. The happiest content creators I know are people who do it part-time. Yeah. You heard that right. I don't know what happens when you go full-time as a creator. It's actually being studied by, like, in an academic context at the moment. That's how weird of a phenomenon it is. Your mental health declines really, really rapidly. And it's due to a foray of factors. But a big thing, I reckon, is the sheer instability of it and the dependence you suddenly have on it for not only your income but your purpose and your creative outlet. And then on top of that, for some people, their friendships and their connections with other people, their audience, and how they value themselves as a person, because you have a numerical value stuck to yourself on public view. I sat down with one of my friends the other day and he genuinely said, I went full-time for 4 months and I've never felt worse. And I've heard that from a lot of people who, let's say, did YouTube full-time in their summers between studying. People do not deal well with doing this job full time. And I think a lot of us are now looking for ways to make this part of our job, not our full job. The money anxiety that comes with it, the constant pressure to be the best version of yourself, whether that's performing well numerically, whether that's in your physical appearance, whether that's producing your best content yet. There is so much pressure, and oftentimes you're the only person that pressure falls onto. So my number one piece of advice, genuinely, if you are a content creator and you're doing well at the moment and you're thinking about going full-time, is don't go full-time. Go part-time. Make sure there's another source of income that you've got that is completely unrelated to your value as a content creator or your success as a content creator. You are not a performing monkey. You are a fully formed, incredibly nuanced, complex, wonderful individual, and you don't deserve to be held to an unattainable standard 24/7. I don't know if that's too bleak. I know I've got many more truths I can share and many more secrets I can tell about what it's actually like being a creator. If you would like another video like this, do let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I feel like I've got so much off my chest in this video. And thank you to Expo for working with me on this video. There is a link in the description where you can learn more. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video if you enjoyed it. It really helps me in the algorithm. And thank you so much for watching. I will chat to you in my next video. Woo! I'm gonna go eat some lunch.